Okay, but you guys chose domains.
Why did we choose to put them together?
Okay. How'd you guys pick them? How'd you guys pick them?
Yeah, you're supposed to write it down. Guys, make sure you're writing it down on your worksheet as well. Right underneath where it says explore what?
I know you're going to find
What do you guys research as the most? I want you to see something. How would you know it's a career? Does that
how many you're getting out together.
So is that group? I want you to take another like 30 seconds. Regroup.
Okay. Other domains? So do you have a different domain in that domain?
Alright, that's time. So go ahead and bring it back in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you guys for looking at me. I'm just missing a few eyes. Thank you. Alright. So I'm going to be cold calling a few of you. I just want you to tell me what groups you made and why you chose to do those groups. There is no incorrect answer. There are multiple things that you can come up with. Okay, so can I have Stephanie? Wait, hold on, don't tell me. Stephanie, over here. Stephanie. Domain. You made them into domain groups? How many groups that you have? 3 groups. Raise your hand if you also got 3 domain groups. Cool. Is that the only way that we can do it?
No.
We did it by domains? No? So someone else has something different? Who has something different? What did you do? You did it by kingdoms. And how many groups did you have in kingdom? 4 groups? Cool. What were the groups that you chose? Great, thank you. Guys, make sure that you're tracking, please. The needs to stop. That's up. Oh yeah, thank you. Okay, so we have domains, kingdoms. Did anyone else do something different? Are those the 2 only ways that we can separate them? What else could we have looked at? Kathia, got it?
Item, class, order, family, genus.
Phylum, class, order, family, genus. Any of those could have been ways to group them, right? We're going to talk about that in a minute, but I want you to keep that in mind as we're going through this. Now, like I said, no one had an incorrect answer. There's multiple ways that we can do this. So what I want us to do is, since we already shared out, we are going to read and annotate a reading, and we are going to look at why it's so important to use taxonomy in our society. I know this is the first time that I'm actually annotating with you guys, so I want you to follow me as I'm doing it, but I do want you guys to look up here real quick. These are the annotation strategies that we're going to be using. I know Mr. Dixon is using the same strategies with you guys in class, right? You guys use these to answer questions. We are going to use number 1 and number 2 for readings, and then all 4 of them for questions. Because of time, and also because it's the first time that I'm doing it with you guys, I'm going to read it and annotating along with you, but I want you guys to like fill in the blanks when I stop and turn and look at you. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay. First thing I want you guys to do is write those 4 strategies down right next to your reading somewhere. The first one is keywords and vocabulary. You need to circle them or underline them. The second one is writing from 1 to 3 word summary of your the words that you annotated. We're not going to do it for every single one of them. We are doing it for the vocabulary words. If it is a question that we're doing, you're going to squiggle the verb. And then number 4, if it is a question, you're going to cross out the non-answers, the ones that are non-answers. We'll practice the question strategies a little bit later today. If you're done, go ahead and look up here. I'm going to wait for the majority of eyes. I know some of us are still finishing. Right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Follow along. There are over 1.9 million species on Earth that have been discovered and described. Just as a quick note, if this had been a question, describe would have been one of those squiggly words. And there may be as many as 6 or 7 million more that have yet to be discovered and described. How in the world are scientists supposed to organize all of these species? And how can a scientist from one country talk to a scientist from another country when they speak a different language and have many different names for things? Even in the United States, the species known as puma concolor, I'm just going to underline this right now because it's going to be important for a question later on, can be called a puma, a panther, a cougar, a catamount, or a mountain lion in different areas of the country. Now this, I'm going to stop right here real quick. This is really important, guys. In the United States, puma concolor is known as many different things. And I have a little list of like the names that it has on the side of your paper. You can call it a mountain lion. You can call it a cougar, a puma, a panther, a Yuma puma, a Florida panther, an eastern cougar, a Wisconsin puma, and a Texas panther. There's a lot of different names that you can use for it. So let's say that I'm talking to someone, like I'm talking from here, from Texas, and I'm going to call it a Texas panther, and I'm talking from someone from a different state, and they're calling it a cougar. If I talk to that person, I'm like, oh yeah, the Texas panther, like, oh yeah, it was cool, like I saw it. Are they going to know what I'm talking about? No. No, they're going to have no idea what I'm talking about because that's not what they call it. Having the scientific name is allowing us to be able to identify the same organism, just calling it by its scientific name. So no matter in what part of the world you are, if you say the scientific name, they should be able to understand what you're talking about. In the 1700s, a Swedish botanist, does anyone know what a botanist is? Perfect. A plant scientist. This is a plant scientist. Named Carl Linnaeus brought order to this chaos by creating a system called taxonomy. This right here is a vocabulary word with different levels of organization. Now I don't know what this means, but I know that's a vocabulary word. And it's important because it's in bold. He grouped organisms into different levels based on how related they are for each other. Using keywords. What does taxonomy mean? Can someone tell me? Yes.
Levels of organization.
Perfect. Levels of organization. Based on what? Based on what? Anyone? Perfect. How related they are to each other. So for this, I'm going to fast map it or write a quick summary, and I'm going to put level of relatedness. I didn't know what that was, but now reading the rest of it, I've come up with my definition for it. Every species is assigned to a scientific group called a taxon. What is the definition for a taxon? Not quite. You're getting a little bit ahead. It's in the same sentence. specific group. A taxon is a specific group. At each level, it is given a scientific name that has two parts. A genus, no idea what a genus is, and a species, no idea what a species is, but it's probably important because they have to do with taxons. For example, Homo sapiens is a scientific name for modern humans. Homo is a genus that includes humans, and all scientists now use the same system to organize and communicate about species. Now, based on this reading, I want you to answer this question. And I want you to start it using the sentence stem. So when I call on you, you're also going to start your sentence using the sentence stem. Having, it is important to have I'm going to switch this way. Sorry, my handwriting is going to get uglier when I get this way. Standardized system because. Now I want you to continue. Take about 45 seconds to finish your sentence. Why is it important to have a standardized organization and naming system? You're doing this independently. Okay, I want you to bring it back in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Actually, let's take about 30 seconds per person. I want you to turn to someone in your table, one of your partners, just one other person unless you're in a group of 3, and tell them what you defined it as, or what was your answer to the question. So go ahead and take about 30 seconds per person. That's 1 minute. Go. Turn and talk. All right, and bring it back in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Can I have, is there a volunteer, someone that wants to share out before I go? You want to share out? That's fine. Remember, one of our biology norms is to take risks. Be willing to take risks. I'm going to go with Evelyn first, and then Kevin. Did I get those right? Yes.
It is important to have a standardized
Get it.
because it can be easy for a specific group and different levels.
Good. So it's easier to identify a specific group in different levels. Good. Kevin.
It is important to have standardized system because you don't get confused on the classifying.
You don't get confused on what you're classifying. Did you want to add something, Michelle? Okay. Okay. Anyone else?